So there's a ghost here, not so much a ghost. I don't say a ghost. He does not haunt this house, but he is around and he loves this room. And every once in a while, I have a couple friends that are psychic mediums, and they'll be like, "Your ghost is with you," and I'm like, "Yeah, he loves this space. Like he loves it. He's really elusive. He just kind of comes and checks in, and I can usually tell. Like I'm like, how's here?" And then he'll leave. Like he is not like our last one. Our last one was he needed to pay rent. Like I should have claimed him as a deduction because of all the headache he caused me. Like, yeah. So I don't mind because I have always had things around me all the time. Like especially as I've gotten this age and older, and I've been more aware of my gifts. They don't bother me, and haunted locations don't bother me, but sometimes I feel like I get like a hangover, like an energy hangover, because I'll be so drained after.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Yeah. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghost in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we dig in the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Welcome to the pod, no cap, it's a seance. Whispers in the static, spirits doing dance. Reptiles in suits, yeah, running the lands. MK Ultra made a puppet of your mans. When they go hunger, dogman strut, flat woods, eyes glow. Slice through the cut, Bigfoot tagging trees, marking the trail. Weird ones ride, no room for the frail. Talking about trauma, talking that soul. Peeling back layers, we dig in a hole. Sacred geometry, numbers align. Ancestors speak through the veil in the sign. Ayahuasca dreams, third eye lit. Shadow self lurking, we making it spit. No mainstream lies. This the dirt where the weird ones rise from the blood and the hurt. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghost in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we dig in the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Voices in the woods got chills on the neck. Black-eyed kids at the door, now we check. CIA tapped in, fluoride drip. Project Bluebeam, watch that script. Talking about grief, talking about fear. Talking about why them voices appear. Healing the mind while breaking the chain. Spiritual warfare deep in the brain. We don't run from the strange, we live in the strange. Tattoo the truth and the scars and the pain. Stay weird, the mantra we own in the name. Reality bends, so we bend to the same. From the attic to the swamp, we tracking the freak. Where the veil get thin and the silence speak. We ain't your norm, we off that grid. Weird as the wave, yo, this where we live.
Hey, this is Rochelle Stratton, and you are listening to Kevin with Where the Weird Ones Are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Ashley from Ghost Gossip Podcast. Phenomenal podcast, phenomenal lady. I definitely think you guys should check her out if you get the chance to, or just make it so that you have the chance to. Um, but she has a couple interesting experiences, including a house that she had bought. Um, it really tested her mental health. So just because she didn't really experience anything until then, so it got pretty interesting. She thought she was kind of going crazy, but so we talk about that and among other things, and it was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. But real quick, shout out to the sponsor, Flavors of the Forest, raw garlic dust. You guys should definitely check this out if you haven't already. You're missing out. So you can get this stuff at flavorsforest.com. It's really good. It's super potent. It's probably the best, in my opinion, best garlic powder out there. It tastes you taste all of it. I guess I don't know how other way to say it, but like it's the only garlic powder that I've been able to use a little bit of and still be able to taste it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to use too much, but it's best so the creators definitely say it's best when The meat and stuff is already cooked, and then you kind of just like powder it in there instead of cooking it with. But I taste it regardless. But anyways, check them out at flavorsforest.com. There's a bunch of other flavors that they have with it. They have infused lion's mane and ginger and cranberry and many things like that. They even have a spicy one, so which I definitely like. But also you can follow them on Instagram at Flavors Forest. So Nelson and Matt, phenomenal dudes. Love them to death. So also, my buddy Johnny Nitro has a company called Wild Beauty. You can get this stuff at wildbeautyproducts.com. It's whipped tallow moisturizer, organic ingredients and all that. It's facial moisturizer, lip balms, chapstick, whatever it is. They have a bunch of stuff. You should check it out. I really like this the tallow moisturizer. Um, when I rub it into my hands and stuff like that, it doesn't leave a greasy or slimy feeling like some moisturizers do. So I like that a lot. And it makes my hands feel nice and soft, even though I got like calluses all over it. But that's all right. Um, Other than that, man, yeah. Um, my book, The Adventures of Rizzo and Weird Son, is out on Amazon right now, so check that out if you have the chance or desire to do so. And if you do so, please leave a rating and review. I could use a lot of those on the book. And if you also have any experiences that you would like to talk about, you can definitely hit me up at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com or find me on Instagram where_theweirdonesare. And we can set something up. Or you can just hit me up and we can just chat about anything. Your experiences, or if you're experiencing any kind of mental distress, I can be there for you if I'm available for sure. I'll definitely reply. But the best avenue for that is here in the United States, dialing 988. They're equipped to help and with anybody who is experiencing any kind of mental distress. They also, if you are somebody who just wants to help somebody that you love or know or whatever, or maybe just some stranger, and they can give you the tools, they can help you help them. So it's a good tool to use for this. Um, it's mental health is a hard thing to navigate for a lot of people. So I totally understand needing some help. So I just want you to know that you're gonna leave a hole behind. Um, you're just transferring trauma, and I know you don't want to do that. So please stay another day. Your existence does mean something, I promise. So, all right, guys. With that being said, please like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review. If your podcatcher does not allow you to leave a review, holy shit, that's a big ass spider. If your catcher does not allow you to leave a review, please consider doing so on the website where the weird ones are podcast.com. That is also where you can get merch, hot sauce, supplements, and check out some of my short stories. All right, guys. I gotta get out of here. Let's get into this episode with Ashley. Amazing person. Definitely check out her podcast. Let's do it. Where the weird ones go production. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. So happy to have you here. I have a lovely guest with me today. Her name's Ashley. She also hosts a paranormal podcast, which I will give her the floor to introduce herself and to let you know all about what she does. So, Ashley, first of all, thanks for being here. I know it's super early, but I appreciate you giving us your time. Time is our greatest currency. It's the best. It's the only, technically, to me, the only currency that we really have. So thanks for giving us some of your time. And if you don't mind letting the listeners know a little bit about yourself and your podcast, where they can find you and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Ashley. I am the host of the Ghost Gossip Podcast, and you can find that everywhere. I had somebody else tell me the other day, you are literally everywhere. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Good. So he's seeing me everywhere, which is good because I've been doing this for about 3 years, but I couldn't push it because of my career at the time. And ever since I stepped down from my position, I've been able to really push this and get it in front of people, and it's great. And what I do is I talk to people like yourselves, and I also do haunted history of locations, and I do, just some more lighter, harder things. And then I do ghost stories where people send me their ghost stories and I read them. And so it's just like a hodgepodge of paranormal stuff. And I love it.
That's dope. I like that. First of all, like the paranormal realm is interesting in itself. The hauntings, the history of things. It's weird to find out that a place is like, so growing up and you see something or you feel something weird at a location, and then years later you find out the history of that location, and it's kind of spooky. And that's always fun to
Hmm.
uncover, I feel like. Like there's a place in Connecticut, I can't remember the frickin' name of it, but it's not really known for being haunted, but they do have hauntings there, and there's some interesting history to it. And my cousin was just sending me videos about it not too long ago, and he's like, "We should go paranormal investigate this place." Blah blah blah, because he just moved down to Connecticut for work, so he's gonna be down there for a few months, maybe a year, and then he'll be back up here. But it's we wanna him and I wanna start doing paranormal investigations. Have you yourself ever done? And actually, you know what? I do know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Have you ever done paranormal investigations?
I've done two.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not
I,
an
I
investigator, but I am interested in that.
yeah, I think I saw a video of you and your husband doing some type of investigation, but what were the location? Were they just random locations or?
So the first one was actually my house. And we
Hmm.
waited until after we moved out to investigate it because my friends who are part of the South Carolina, I can't remember the all the letters, but it's the investigative, like, group in South Carolina, and she's a part of that, and she, like, begged me and begged me, "Can I please investigate your house? Let me investigate your house," and I was like, "I live here." And he's an ass. So I would prefer to not live here when we investigate. So I knew there was a chance that we might be selling just to get, and it wasn't because it was haunted, it was some school stuff with our kids. And
Uh-huh.
so when we finally moved out, I was like, "Hey, you want to investigate?" And she's like, "Absolutely." So that was the first place I ever investigated. And that was really wild. And then the second is the whiskey prison up in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, and it's an old prison that is now a distillery.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What kind of experiences did you have at the old prison that's now a distillery?
Well, we had a lot of REM pod activity, we had a lot of EMF activity, but I got touched a lot. My leg was being rubbed, my ankle was being rubbed, like, I kept telling my husband, like, "Stop touching me," and he's like, "I'm not touching you." And so at one point I was doing dowsing rods, and I was like, "Daniel, is there a bug on my leg?" And so we have a video. He is with a flashlight looking at my leg because I felt something like rubbing up my leg, and he's like, "There's nothing on your leg." So I had a lot of physical interaction with the spirits of the whiskey prison, but just other stuff, just lights and EMF, and there was a music box going off, and I heard some what I heard some voices, I heard some things, and then they were caught on the EVPs. Is that right? EVPs? So it was cool that I heard it, and then we went back and it was there. So that's what happened at the prison. It's a really cool place.
Hmm. It sounds like a cool place. I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna have to check it out. I have a couple friends that live in North Carolina, so maybe that's something that we could probably do. Um, but I wanted to ask you, what got you interested in the paranormal, like to start the podcast and all that? Was it the experiences you had in that house, or was it your childhood, or what's up with that?
Well, I had stuff happen in my childhood, but there was only a few things that happened when I was younger,
Mhm.
and it was kinda opened my mind to it, like, "Oh my god, that happened." But it wasn't until I bought my haunted house and I felt like I was going crazy. Like, when you're living in it and things are happening all the time, and it's almost like this level of anxiety all the time, it makes you feel like you're losing your mind. And I just needed to talk about it, and my husband was a huge skeptical at the time or skeptic, and he did not wanna talk to me about it, and he was, like, just kinda shutting me down, and we were I tell people that's the most we probably have ever fought because I was experiencing all this stuff and he wasn't, and I was, like I just needed some reassurance from him, and all I got was, "There's nothing in this house. There's nothing in this house." And I'm thinking, "Are you calling me crazy?" So, it was rough. So I started the podcast to talk about it.
Nice. That's funny. That's hilarious because I feel like, when you don't believe, you just don't want to even talk about it, and it's but did he so I'm assuming, since now he's willing to kind of investigate, I'm assuming that he had some experiences in the house to where he's like, "Oh, maybe you're right."
Oh, he did. It was so funny. So the way it started was the lights. Lights started coming on. Well, initially, it always felt like you were never alone. That was like the
Mhm.
first clear cut sign. You'd walk into the house, like outside, you feel fine. Well, actually, outside, you felt like somebody was watching you from a window. But you walk in, and it was immediately like you were in a stranger space. And, when we first moved in, it was like, okay, well, it's a new house. We're adjusting. But 2 years in, you're still walking into somebody else's house and you're just like, "Hey, I don't live here. I just visit, I guess." But there was this light that we had. It was in the sunroom. Every day I'd come home and it would be on, and I'm like, "Ugh," and I would turn it off, and then sometimes it would come back on. I'm like, "God almighty." So, my husband one night, it was probably about a year and a half after we've lived there, so I am completely entrenched in what's going on, and he's still like, "There's nothing here." But he had I had told him because I this sounds crazy. When he comes in sometimes, I'm just talking to him like they're people. I'm just like, "Da da 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 da," having a conversation, and he's like and I'm like, "You talk to them like they're people because they were people." And so he's sitting there, it's about 11 o'clock at night. He was taking a test for something for his job. He was actually taking like a practice test. He was studying for the licensing exam. And the light came on right next to him. And it was a sunroom. So it's right next to the living room. And he said that I was in bed. So he's sitting there alone. And he said he looked up and he's like, thanks for turning that on. I don't need it on. Can you turn it off? And then he went back to studying, and he said a few minutes later, it went off, and he was like, "It's time to go to bed."
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and around that same time, I was in bed, not the same day, but around that same kinda time vicinity. He was in the living room watching TV with one of our dogs, and I was in bed, and I heard footsteps above us, and none of our kids were home 'cause we have an every other weekend where they go to their other parents every other weekend. And so it was one of those weekends, it was just me and him, and I hear footsteps upstairs, and I'm like, "Did he go upstairs?" Well, he heard them, and our dog heard them because he said the dog looked up. They thought I went upstairs. And so once that stuff started happening where he was experiencing it, he was like, "Okay, I can't explain either of those."
Mhm. I think some of my
Yeah.
favorite stories are people that
were skeptics, and then they have these experiences, and they're like, I believe now. I mean, I think a lot of experiences should be met with some sort of skepticism. Obviously, you want to,
Oh, yeah.
I
Mhm.
yeah, because you don't want to drive yourself crazy by thinking that everything is a ghost. Um,
Right.
but I do think I find it hilarious some of the skeptic stories, to where they don't believe at all to them believing, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. They're a lot of fun to witness too, because I've witnessed a few of
Yeah.
them as well. But I wanted to ask you, what was the first experience you had in the house? Was it like when you moved in and that was that feeling that you weren't supposed that it was somebody else's house, or was it actually something a little more significant?
That the first thing, the very first just feeling was feeling watched, feeling
Mhm.
like you're not welcome, feeling like you are in a stranger's house, you're not supposed to be there. That was initially that from once we actually not when we were looking at the house, because when you look at a house, you're just in there and out there really fast. You know what I mean? Especially in 2021, 2022, the market was crazy. You really didn't even have time to think about buying a house. You just had to do it and hope for the best. So
Mhm.
we went in and we kind of like ran around and the energy was kind of, but it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, but we didn't feel anything while we were there, but once I went in after I bought the house and I was, like, walking around and I was like, "Hmm, just doesn't feel like I'm alone here, it feels like I'm being watched and everywhere I go, especially my closet." I always felt like I was being watched in my closet to the point where I would turn around thinking my husband would be there, and he wasn't there. And it was just so much of that, just and I didn't say anything to my kids. I was saying something to my husband, and he's like, "It's new, we're adjusting," you know? Always, "It's new." Well, then we put in new lights, and the sunroom lights started coming on. And that was happening on a regular basis, all the time coming on. Like, one time we were in Charleston, and we just went for an overnight, and our dogs we had a dog sitter come in and check our dogs, so I have a camera I tapped in to see them, and the lights were on, and I was like, "Ugh." So, just stuff like that, like, the lights coming on, and then we had a motion light in my husband's closet, and it we had really high ceilings in that house, so it was pretty high up. And he's 6'1", 6'2", so he has to physically walk into the closet to get the light to come on, whereas
Uh,
I can walk in and it not go on. I would have to put my hand up and, like, start, like, doing this to get it to come on. Well, we would be laying in bed at night, and that light would be coming on. And he's like, "It's a bug." And I'm like, "That's a giant bug, Daniel. Like, that's a giant bug, honey. If that's a bug, we need to call Terminex because that thing is massive. Because I literally would have to wave my hand in front
mhm.
of it to get it to come on. There's after we went to the Crescent, it was so funny. We were home and we were, like, unpacking our bags and stuff, and I'm just kinda, like, doing this, doing that, and that light just goes "bink," and I was like, "Oh, man, it's mad at us." We went and visited other ghosts.
That's funny.
Yeah, and
Do
then
you
and as
oh, go ahead, sorry.
well, as things got no, 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 you're good. As we got more comfortable in the house and as time went on, like, we would hear footsteps. I would hear voices. I would the kids were having stuff going on, but they weren't telling me because they didn't know what it was, and it took a few months to really like, I knew right away once we were in there and that feeling didn't go away, like, there's something in here, and then when the lights started coming on and off. But it wasn't until months later that my daughter was, like, seeing him and having nightmares that I realized, "Okay, we have to do something, like, there's somebody in here."
Yeah, yeah, did when it starts messing with, the kids, it gets a little more scarier than you want it to be. Um,
Yeah.
but did you check on the history of the house, the land, the property, whatever, at all, to uncover anything, or
Not the land itself, but I know about a lot about the owner of the house.
Mhm.
He built the house in '99, he lived there with his mother, like, I know a lot about that. We also had a situation happen with a Bible that was his, and that was fairly soon after we moved in. That was freaky. That scared me. But it was one of those things, it was like, it didn't 1999, that's not an old house.
No.
And the land, I mean, there's nothing that really significant, I don't think, that happened on this land in South Carolina. And I mean, there is no telling because South Carolina was part of, there's history here, so there's no telling.
Mm.
But from what I understand, it's him. It's him. He was not a great. He wasn't very nice in life, and he really wasn't nice in death. And he was alone and didn't have. He had family. He had a sister, and she had her sons. But him and his mom kind of lived in that house together, and they were kind of crotchety and not very friendly people. And yeah, he loved that house. That house was like his baby. Like, he adored that house, and I really think he thought we were, like, gonna tear it up. And he hated women, he hated kids, he hated pets, and I have all of those. So it was I joke that I ruined his afterlife.
It kind of sounds like you might have, but
Yeah.
once you're gone, you gotta accept that you're gone. And I think a lot of times, obviously, when we get hauntings like this, it's somebody that can't come to terms with their death, um, whether they're a good spirit or bad spirit. Um, and I really want to know the story with his Bible, if you don't mind telling that.
So when I closed on the house, his sister told me that he had placed 4 Bibles in the corner of the basement, each corner of the basement, to bless the house when he was
Wow.
building the house. And I think they forgot one because I found this Bible in the basement, only one, and there was a piece of paper, and it was it was like just a piece of paper that had been typed on, and it was information about being saved, and that paper was folded up and put in the Bible. Well, I am not super religious, but I'm not gonna throw a Bible away. I was like, "I don't wanna throw a Bible away." So,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what to do with it, so I kinda just put it on a shelf. I was just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna put this here." And it was in the basement, just left it in the basement because we had all of our boxes down there. We didn't know what we were unpacking, you know? We had just combined 2 families into 1, so we had crap everywhere. So I just left it down there. I came down later that week, and I found the Bible on the floor open and that piece of paper out of the Bible opened on the floor. And I was like, "Hmm, okay." So I thought the kids did it, so I just put it back in, closed it, put it back. Excuse me, put it back, and then it happened again, and the kids were down there that day, so I was like, "Hey, are y'all messing with this?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, Y'all not playing with the Bible?" And they're like, "What Bible?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I close it up, put it on the shelf, like, decide to put it in the storage room because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, they're not gonna come in here. They're not gonna look for anything, so I'm gonna put this up on the shelf in the closet." At that point, it was like, "This is weird," right? Because it was so specific. It was open and that page was open. Somebody had asked me once, "Which page was it on?" And I was like, "I should have looked," but I didn't because at the
Uh,
time, you're just like, you know? So I put it in there. This was months later. This was months later when I was in the thick of the actual haunting. I was in my closet, cleaning my closet in my bedroom, the first place that I initially had felt like I was being watched. And I am cleaning out a bag in my closet, and I'm looking through everything, and I pull a piece of paper out, and it is that paper about being saved.
no
I
shit.
Yeah, I lost my mind. My husband was somewhere else in the house. I called him from the closet crying, and I was like, "Did you do this? Did you do this to mess with me?" He's like, "Ashley, I don't even know where you put that Bible." He's like, "I don't even know where it is." And I was in tears. I was crying. I was screaming. The lady that helped saged my house, I sent her a text, just all caps, screaming, "I found it in my bedroom. I found it in my bedroom." She's like, "What? He's not gone yet?" I was like, "No." But yeah, I ended up giving him that Bible because my husband has a more I don't care attitude. He's just like, if it's causing issues, get it out of the house. So I gave it to him and I was like, I never want to see that thing again. Take it. And I never saw it again. I'm pretty sure he took it to the dump. I have no idea.
Oh boy. That's first of all, that's freaking terrifying. Second of all,
It was scary.
yeah. Um, did you like I remember so in the beginning you kind of said something about maybe you started feeling a little crazy and stuff.
Mhm.
Did you ever start to feel like your mental health was just like falling apart at any
Yeah.
point?
Absolutely. And I was physically sick. I think in 2022, I stayed sick. Like I
Oh
wasn't
wow.
sleeping. Like I deal with insomnia anyway,
Mhm.
but in 2022 it got really bad, like really, really bad. And I was physically sick. I was having migraines weekly, if not daily. And I was missing work. I was having issues with my joints. I was having so many random things happen, and I had a list on my phone. Every time something happened, I was writing it down because I was trying to find a correlation between all of these different symptoms. And it was nuts. I thought I was dying. I even got my head scanned at one point because I thought I had a tumor. And it was rough. Like 2022 was rough, just physically for myself and mentally. I was losing my mind. And there was nothing wrong. They could find nothing wrong. Nothing. Nothing. And then one
Uh,
day, like, it stopped.
wow. Wow. So it just everything just stopped happening all at once and
Yeah. Around
did you do
August of
something?
2022. I gave him his own bedroom in the house.
I
Yeah.
I could see it. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um
I
uh,
told him he could stay. I was like, I'm not going to fight with you anymore, but you cannot mess with us. Like, you can't keep messing with us.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting when you stand on authority how they kind of react sometimes. Sometimes they turn turn a little bit docile. Um but that's good on you. I mean, trying to reason with him. I must so I bought this house that I'm in right now around that same time, around like 2021 and everything. And, I had to walk in here with a mask. Nobody's here, completely empty. Had to be in here with a mask on, booties, little thingies over my shoes and everything like that. And I had to wear gloves and all this while we were searching for houses. And so ended up settling on this house. I didn't really want it, but everything seemed like you had to do it, right? Like you said.
Mhm.
So I bought it, and it's a little house. It's not very big, and I had a friend. My best friend came over, and he's kind of like he's pretty sensitive to a lot of things, and we came and sat on my porch and had a beer together after work one day, and he went to the bathroom, and the bathroom is right next to my stairs that to go to the second floor. And he comes out and he sits down and he goes, "Man, your hallway is really dark." And I go, "Yeah." I was like, "I kind of want to do some construction to raise up the roof and maybe put some windows in that stairwell just to add some light because there's no windows in that stairwell to the hallway to go to the bedrooms or anything, so it's completely
Mhm.
dark." And he's like, "No, your hallway
Yeah.
is fucking dark." And I go, "Oh, okay, all right." I was like, "That would explain the shadow people because I see shadow people in this house all the time. I haven't lately,
Yeah.
um, but I've only had one, like, super scary experience in this house, and that was when I first started seeing my girlfriend, and she had just left. I was going to bed because I go to bed at, like, 7 o'clock at night because I gotta wake up at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning for work. So she had just left, and I had gotten into bed, and she, like, gave me some love right before she left. So she walked out of my bedroom and went home or whatever, and I'm laying there and I fell asleep and I wake up to my name being called, and I'm like, and I'm like kind of groggy and I'm sprawled out like a freaking starfish, which I don't normally like sleep like this. I'm more oh shit. whacking shit. I'm more like this.
Yeah.
Because my ex-girlfriend used to get really pissed off if I freaking moved at night. So I got we were together for 4 years, so I got used to just laying there like this, or like straight, and I'd sleep on the edge of the bed because if I disturbed her, it'd be the fucking end of the world. But anyways, so I'm sprawled out in my bed like this, and I wake up and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking it's her, that she came back and she was calling my name. And in the doorway was this like full figured, voluptuous woman, long flowing hair, black shadow. And it was,
Wow.
I assumed it was a silhouette and it was her. And I'm looking at it and it's standing in the doorway. And then she starts coming into the room, but she's coming in like this,
Oh God.
like that. And I was like, and my heart started pounding and I couldn't move. It was like a sleep paralysis kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then
I had a lot of sleep paralysis in that house.
I bet. So, um, yeah, right before she got to my bed, I was able to break out of it, and I grabbed my phone and I lit the room up, and she wasn't there, but it was really it was freaky. There's only 2 experiences that I've really had that have, well, 3 maybe, I guess, that have given me that like I'm gonna die feeling. Um, but so I
That is terrifying. I'm sorry. That is I if I saw some broken woman doing a jig towards my bed, I mean, I don't know how you're still there. I lived through a lot. That might have done it for me.
Yeah. I think, right after, my daughter was born, I was walking I think this had be close to a year now. I was walking out of the bedroom to go downstairs to go to the bathroom, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something, and I turn and I look at it, and I see a figure standing there probably about, like, 2 feet away from me, and I just was like, in the name of Jesus, you are not welcome here. If you're evil, if you have no good intentions, I don't want you here. And then it just like faded away. And I haven't seen him since. But you know, I'm not I've never been really religious, and I think that a lot of my experiences have kind of and my life experiences have led me onto this journey to being saved, I guess. So I'm a little I do feel like I might be a little more religious than I initially thought, but you know, everybody's journey is different, and I don't expect them to believe the same things that I believe. So, in saying that, the reason why I brought that story up was to ask you about if you ever had sleep paralysis, which you already acknowledged that you have. So, I'm interested in those kind
Ooh.
of experiences. What were those like?
Oh, so the first one was, I say very comical. It was like straight out of a movie. I was sleeping, of course, and I told you I deal with insomnia, and so I
Hmm.
haven't slept on my own since I was pregnant, actually. She's 14 this year. So it's been a long time since I've been able to naturally sleep on my own. And so I have to take medication, which I'm sure it plays a part in. But this house is its own main character. It has main character energy. I always said this house is alive. This house is it's almost like we talked about the house as if it was its own entity, person. So I was sleeping and I was in my dream. It was so vivid. I was in my daughter's room, which was his old bedroom. And there was a little closet door, like one of those little, not like a crawl space door, but not a full door. So like a half door,
Mm,
and there was little attic space. And so she hated that door. We had it covered up with a curtain or her bed, or it always stayed covered. But in the dream, Sam and Colby were investigating my daughter's house or my daughter's bedroom in my house. And we were in there and, they're like, "Oh, look at her. What's over there?" And like they're talking to it. Well, while we're in there, I sense this dark energy, like a dark mass. And I don't see it, but I sense it. And I feel like it's targeting my daughter. And so I'm like, if you want to come through somebody, you have to come through me. And when I said that, it's like my body got sucked from that bedroom down the stairs. It's like I was astral projecting or something. And it was like a movie. Everything zoomed past me as I was getting sucked back into my body, and my eyes opened, and I was frozen. And that was the first time I ever had sleep paralysis. I didn't see anything dark, but I could feel something very dark over the bed, like looking down at me, like, here I am. You said if I wanted you, here we are. And I remember instinctively, I was like, I need to pray. I need to pray. It was just like that pure, like just survival. And so I tried
Mhm.
to say the Our Father and I couldn't remember the words. All of a sudden it was just Our Father, who Our Father. And I was just like, my eyes were darting around the room. I started to panic. And I just kept trying to pray and pray and pray. And finally, I was like, did you just get chills? Because I did. Um, I was finally like, I finally stumbled my way through it all. And I was like, Amen. And when I said amen, I went back to sleep. So it was so dramatic that first time. Like that scared me. Not being able to move, feeling that dark energy over the bed, forgetting the words to the Our Father. Like I was like, is this a demon? This is demonic, like freaking out. The next yes. But when you can't move and it's just your eyes and it's just like you're like, "Oh my
Oh
god, I
my god.
am frozen and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it." Well, the next time it happened, I was able to say the Our Father and be done, but Sam and Colby were not present, darn it. And then the 3rd time I'm not sure if I was screaming, I don't know if I was crying, but my husband heard me going through it. He put his hand on me and said, "You're okay." And I was able to go back to sleep. And then the last time, I was like, "Not right now." And I went back to sleep. Yeah. And then it never happened again.
That's awesome. It's funny that you bring up, Sam and Colby because I didn't know who the hell they were until, like, a month ago. And my daughter actually, both my kids, my daughter and my son, they're, 16 and 14, and they love their YouTube channel. And,
Yeah.
it's interesting to it's I find it really interesting when I start learning about something or I find something out and then I get into a conversation with somebody and they bring it up. So I just wanted to bring light to that where I'm just finding out who Sam and Kobe is and then you were bringing them up.
Yep, I got to meet them in a dream. They don't know me, but I know them. It
That's
was of
funny.
all the people, and I had started watching their stuff
Mhm.
probably a few months ahead of that, so that's probably and they were the only ghost show that I watched for that time period, and then it was just so funny because it felt so real.
Mhm.
Like, it truly felt like they were in my daughter's room and we were investigating and, like, all the gadgets they had were all out, and but, yeah, it was I don't think I really got to meet them, but in my mind, we're like this.
Oh my
You know.
god, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Um, I wanted to ask you, I'm not gonna you don't have to tell me what your job was when you first started the podcast, but did you also, because of your job, while you're trying to do this podcast about paranormal, did you feel, um, I don't know, anxious like somebody at work would find it?
Well, so people knew that I had it.
Okay.
I just couldn't really put my face out there, I still don't put like my whole name on it, but I kept it. I tried to keep it kind of hush hush. I couldn't. I had social media, but really, I mean, it was really just basic boilerplate. But I wasn't so much worried that they would find it, but I couldn't. The thing when you work for the federal court system, and that's what I worked for the federal government.
Oh,
You
yes.
cannot
Okay.
you cannot appear to have any sort of impropriety. Now,
Mhm.
not that this is impropriety, but I could see how the court system, how they might view it as me bringing negative light to the court if I were to put myself out there. Because what I did, I was in the courtroom with my judge. So I was very visually present. And if I was putting my face out there, there is a chance that I'm opening myself up to a dangerous situation and all this other things, and then people learn too much about it. Where I was in a position where I needed to be in a bubble, essentially, because of what I did for a living. I didn't need to be putting myself out there all the time for everyone
Mhm.
to see just for safety reasons.
I get that. I get that
So,
100%. Uh there's another podcaster. Can't remember his name, but I've listened to him just a handful of times, and he's been on a couple of my friends' shows. I think he might have been on Tommy's show, which I just found out that you were just on. Um,
I love Tommy.
yeah, me too. We're besties. We have a bromance going on. But
Oh,
anyways,
cute.
so he was a cop, and he was also a Bigfoot researcher. But he never talked about his Bigfoot research because if he had ever had to go to court for
Yes.
arresting somebody or something like that, they'd be like, "This guy's crazy. He doesn't know anything. This guy looks into Bigfoot, like
Yes.
goes out and looking for Bigfoot."
Right.
So
Exactly. And that's another part of it. You don't want your credibility. I was in a position of power, you know, I was in a
yeah,
position where I didn't need to look like I was insane in any way, and now I'm not, and firing it up. I'm a little bit crazy. Let's go, you know? But it was one of those things like, I had to make that sacrifice. I did it when I could. I didn't push myself out there, but now that I left my job and I'm stay-at-home mom, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. Let's go.
yeah, dog. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Same with me. Like, I mean, I didn't have a job that would matter, but yeah, I never really talked about all my experiences and stuff publicly, but my friend had a podcast where it was like a Joe Rogan kind of style where they had just conversations about
Mhm.
whatever. Um, and then I got the interest in starting my own, and he's like, "What are you gonna do about?" I was like, "Ghosts, freaking cryptids, conspiracies, a whole bunch of supernatural and spiritual stuff." And he's like, "That's cool." So I'm gonna talk about aliens, Bigfoot, and whether or not the Earth is flat. Whether even though I don't really believe that the Earth is flat, but I love talking about it. Um, and he's like, "Oh, cool." And then I started it, and you know, I always thought that people like bring it. So there's been a few times where I bring up my podcast, and like kind of like subtly, and that sometimes people that I work with would be like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And then,
Yeah,
but
right.
there's but
Watch out for
yeah,
Kevin.
uh, as of recently though, a lot of guys at my work, at the job that I'm in now, have started listening and then telling their friends about it. So that has been
That's cool.
pretty cool and interesting. My boss even was like, "Yeah, I've listened to a couple of your episodes, and him and I have had conversations about ghosts a few times, which is pretty dope." He's like, "If my wife feels like a house is haunted when we go to buy it, if it's too old, she'll be like, 'I'm not buying it. I don't want it.' If she has any kind of if he's like, even if it looks spooky in any kind of way, she does not want it." So,
Yeah,
it's pretty
I get
fun.
that. Yeah, I have a little house ghost here. And I am sensitive. I am coming into gifts that I've had for years that have just kind of been kind of dormant for
Mhm.
God knows how long. And they're starting, when I lived in that house, they really woke up. And now I'm trying to be a little bit more aware and be more intentional with them. So there's a ghost here, not so much a ghost. I don't say a ghost. He does not haunt this house, but he is around and he loves this room. And every once in a while, I have a couple friends that are psychic mediums and they'll be like, your ghost is with you. And I'm like, yeah, he loves this space. Like he loves it. He's really elusive. He just kind of comes and checks in and I can usually tell, like, I'm like, Al's here. And then he'll leave. Like he is not like our last one. Our last one was he needed to pay rent. Like I should have claimed him as a deduction because of all the headache he caused me. Like, yeah. So I don't mind because I have always had things around me all the time, like, especially as I've gotten this age and older and I've been more aware of my gifts. They don't bother me, and haunted locations don't bother me, but sometimes I feel like I get, like, a hangover, like an energy hangover, because 'cause I'll be so
Mm,
drained after. That's one of the hardest things.
yeah. Yeah, that I've taught I I think I might be more sensitive than I really thought. And there's been a couple instances where um it seems like there's like more of an intuitiveness, like not like psychic or anything like that, but more of like I'm
Mhm.
aware of things going on in other people's lives sometimes. And it's really what really I find super interesting. I don't live with a I don't get to know my ghosts. That I've never gotten to know a ghost to where that I could name them, or that they had a name, I should say. Um, but I have been able to tell. There's this weird thing that happens to me every once in a while. Is I get these weird feelings about certain people. They haven't done anything wrong to me. They don't talk negatively. They seem completely fine, but I don't like them, and I don't know why. And I can't
Yeah.
haven't been able to figure that out yet. There's been a couple people where I has figured it out, and I'm like, oh, you're not really a good person. That's why I don't like you. Um, but there's been a few people that I have come across in recent years that I'm just like, there's some like, and they're completely nice. They're totally nice, and there's nothing wrong with them. But I'm like staring at them like, something's off about you,
Mm-mm.
dude, and I don't like it, and I don't know
Mm-mm.
what that
Oh
is.
no, that's intuition. That's that's being sensitive. That's picking up on people's auras or intentions or energies. Oh yeah, we have a child that is. We met her through school because I have
Uh-huh.
two middle schoolers and a high schooler. Something about this kid I do not like. And I told both my daughters who are 13, I'm like, I don't like her. And I'm very open with my girls because I do not like, she had come over here to swim with them one day this summer. And I was like, never again. Something about her energy made my house feel sticky and I don't like it. And I told him she will not come back. Oh, mom, you just don't know. You just don't know. You're so mean. Mom, wah, wah, just God, shut up. So this week, my daughter, because we're blended. So one 13-year old's my husband's, one 13-year old is mine. But they're both mine. They mine. I raise them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
mine came flying down the stairs, madder than a hornet. She's like, "Mom, you were right." And I was like, "I know." So I was like, I need a shirt that says that. Mom, you're right. Yeah, no, no shit. I know. I knew I was right this summer. Okay. Huh. There's just something about her. There's something about her, and I'm usually like that with people, and my husband says I'm really mean. I'm really not. I just have 0 time for bullshit, and if you come at me and 1, your energy is off, and 2, you are filling me with a bunch of bullshit, I got no time for you. My like you said, time is currency, and my time is valuable, and I can't make any more of it, and I'm not gonna waste another second on you. Mm-mm.
Absolutely. Amen. Amen. Um, it's funny because I get the same shit from a lot of people who are like, "You're mean. Why are you always so mean?" And I'm just like, I'm like blunt and I'm straight to the
I'm
point. Like
direct,
I don't
not
need to
mean.
frickin' like candy coat anything. I don't need to have like a
Right.
full paragraph when the whole point of what I'm saying lies within 3 words, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not a big small talk person. With certain people, I'll have small talk, like people I care about, people that like if we're just sitting there chit chatting, you know what I mean? Like, but if it's like a brand new person I've never met, I'm not going to
Mhm.
make small talk with you. Like, you want to talk, you want to have a conversation about something. Don't talk to me about the weather. We know what the weather looks like outside. Don't talk to me about your drive-in unless you saw Bigfoot on your drive-in or a UFO flow by or you found a puppy on the side of the road. Don't you talk to me about your drive-in, okay? Okay.
Oh
I
man.
love meaningful conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's oh man, it's funny to the feelings I get the things that people say about me and stuff like that when it's like I guess I have a RBF, a lot of times too, which I
Ah,
get that you
yeah, me
probably
too.
have too. So
Mhm.
People are
My
like,
daughter just
"Stay
told me
away
that.
from that guy."
Yeah, my daughter just said, "Mom, I mean this in the nicest of ways." We were somewhere. Oh, it was yesterday at the airport. I had to go finish my TSA approval stuff, like, so I can fly a little bit easier or whatever. I'm sitting there waiting for my turn. My daughter went to sit somewhere else. So I'm not sitting, I'm standing. She's went and sat down, but she could still see me. My daughter looks just like me. Okay. Just long hair and younger, just like me. I copy pasted real hard. And so she's like staring at me and she walks over, just all like 13-year-old attitude, almost 14. She'll tell you, I'm 15 next year. I'm like, baby, you got to turn 14 this year first. But anyway, so she sashays on over to me and she says, Mom. I went, "Yes." She's like, "I don't mean this in a bad way, but you have the worst resting bitch face. You look so mean." I went, "Good." She's like, "Good?" I said, "Yes, it keeps people from coming up and talking to me." She's like, "You don't want people to come and talk to you?" No. Not at the airport. No.
I can only take so much of people. It's myself,
Yeah.
which I feel like you're
People
probably
are
the
a
same way. I
lot.
get like yeah, I get anxiety in crowded spaces. Like we were just at the fair. We were probably there for an
Oh,
hour and I'm like, I'm over this. I was like, I need to it's like so I'll remove myself from a lot of situations. Sometimes I'll just go outside
yeah.
and stand like if we're
Uh-huh.
at like a
Same.
house party or something like that, or we're doing like a birthday party and there's a bunch of people in the house. Even though that I know everybody and stuff too, like I'll still get
A lot.
anxious and need to go outside. Um, it's weird. I've never really been able to talk to somebody who has had similar um, things like that until I started the podcast. There's been a lot of people that I've
Mhm.
had conversations with that are like, "Dude, I totally get it."
Yeah, I totally get it. You're also sounds like you're a little claustrophobic, which I am as well. And it
Yes.
causes anxiety when you
Hmm.
are in tight spaces. I didn't realize I was claustrophobic. And I mean, like, I don't like feeling encroached on. Like, even like my husband, like I'm not a super affectionate person because I had some stuff happen when I was younger. And so I have I like my space, I like my bubble. And I mean, I love my husband, love my kids, but I will cuddle them, I will hold them. But after a while, I'm just like, I feel like my body tense up. But I gotta love on them because if not, then they don't think I love them. But
Yep. Yep.
it just like I feel like I'm like my insides are screaming. And I was around a lady in April, and she's like, "Are you claustrophobic?" And I kind of looked at her, and I was like, "You know, I think I am." That makes a lot of sense. And now it makes it easier when I go places because I know kinda where I need to navigate myself to kinda not
Hmm.
feel like I'm about to die because of people around me.
That's funny because I like affection, but I don't I don't present it very well because of things that happen to me when as well.
Mhm.
So like I have a hard time with it. So like I do like to cuddle and stuff, but I can only do it for like a minute or two, and then I'm just like, get away.
And then I'm done.
So
Yep,
I'm the same
love you,
exact way.
mean it. Yep, I get it, I get it, same thing, like, my husband is super like, his love language is physical touch, and I'm like, "Ugh." And he's a big man, like I said, 6'1", 6'2", depending on the shoes he has on, and so I'm 5, like, 4 on a good day, so he'll just come and just, like
Oh
like,
shit, yeah.
consume me, and I'm like, "Oh, I love you so much, please go away. I love you so much, you're wonderful." "Mandy!" Sorry. I started hearing something, and I'm like, "What is that?" And, this is where all the knocks are. So, it's just my dog this time. She's scratching.
So, how often do you get knocks? Y- Al, right, is the name. How often
Ow,
does he present
ow, good
himself?
old Ow. Ow's around, I would say weekly. He's It's really weird. It's just usually like a quick little cold chill and he's gone. Just kinda feels like
Hmm.
somebody's there and then he's gone. He really is a really good house spirit. He is Now, there is a puzzle in the garage that he put together, and it's like 8 foot by 5 foot, and he does not want us tearing it down, and I have promised him we will not tear it down, but, like, even my psychic medium friend, Jess, was like she called me one day and she goes, "Hey, that puzzle in the garage." I was like, "Yeah, what about it?" She goes, "Don't tear it down." I was like, "I'm not." She goes, "Well, just trust me, don't tear it down." I was like, "I learned my lesson from the first house. I'm not tearing anything down. Like, it's good." So, he's really great. He just the knocking is not him. He is really elusive. He does not really interact with us. I don't the knocking started other than my dog scratching right at my feet at the moment. The knocking started after we lost my girl's really close friend this summer,
Oh.
and she was 13. And
Oh.
she so that's when it really started. So I think it's her. It doesn't happen all the time. Like I can like we've been in here for what 50 minutes and there's been nothing. It really is active in the afternoon. Like I get the most activity in this house around 1 p.m. to about 3 or 4 p.m. And then sometimes at night, my son will hear knocks in the walls and stuff, but mainly it's in the afternoon. Like they get really going around the afternoon.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry for your daughter's loss of a friend. That's never
It's
never
horrible. It
fun.
was horrible.
Um, I
It's
was
funny because
fortunate enough
she
never
always
to sorry. I was just
no,
gonna
you're
say
good.
I was fortunate enough never to lose a friend at a young age, at like as a teenager, but early 20s and stuff. And throughout to now, in my late 30s, I've lost quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah, my best friend died when she was 17 and I was almost 18. It was our senior year on homecoming
Hmm.
and that anniversary just passed. And that was horrible. She was my first visitation, like person that came and visit me in my dream, like or dream state when I was younger. But yeah, they don't teach you how to help your kids through it,
No.
especially when it's self-harm. Like there is no handbook on how to cope with it. And I cling to my spirituality and that's helped them a little bit, but like it's just she's 13.
Hmm.
Like that
Hmm.
what you're not supposed to bury them at that age, but she's around. She knew what I did. She was one of my biggest fans. She always listened. She always watched all my videos. And I was writing the Washu Club episode and I was working in my office because this is my studio, but I have an office where my husband and I do work and stuff outside of the studio because I
Hmm.
try to keep the studio's intentions and energy just for this. So I was working in my office and I felt fingertips in my hair, playing with my hair and rubbing my hair. And she always played with my girl's hair. So
Oh,
she's around.
yeah.
I think it's her messing with me someday.
Probably. Um,
Mhm.
I dealt with self-harm myself. So I mean, I still don't it would be hard for me to navigate if with my kids losing a friend or even anybody that's close to them to that. I tried when I was 9 and then I tried again when I was 13. So I tried twice and it was
My mama soul just wants to hug you. Like just ugh.
yeah, it
Mm,
was for a long time, it was hard to talk about, and the podcast really helped me in that, and I used to be super introverted too, and the podcast
yeah.
has also because I wanna have these kind of conversations, the podcast has helped me become more extrovert and more outgoing. Not that I never was really outgoing, like, when I got into conversations, it was easy
Yeah.
for me to be a little more outgoing, but I was
Mhm.
never naturally like, "Hey, you person, come have
Yeah.
a
You
conversation
random
with
guy
me."
right there. You look interesting. Come over here. Come sit with me. Like, no, me
Yeah.
neither. I'm like looking at people like, don't talk to
Mhm,
me. Well,
mhm,
no, ew. Who are you? Leave me alone. I am fine. Just because I have a resting bitch face, it doesn't mean that I am antisocial. It means one, I don't have my glasses on and I can't see anything. And two, I don't want to talk to anybody.
mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, I've had
I'm introverted too.
conversations. Yeah. I've had conversations with my kids about, my struggles and stuff, um, to hope to kind of like try and keep them from going into that. Like, I want
Yeah.
them to always have an open door to have the conversation if they're ever having those kinds of feelings. So, I
That's important.
yeah, I hope it for your daughter's sake, she knows that she's loved, and obviously I think she is from talking conversations with you,
Right.
and she can process her friend's death, or has already, you know, processed her friend's death.
She's she's healing. I think, especially this age, the stages of grief are so much different. They're the
Mhm.
same, of course, 'cause psychology, but they are different because you're dealing with brains that haven't they're not developed all the way, and when you're this age, everything is emotional and everything is bigger than it is, and so, like, this is, like, end of the world, they might as well die, and that's one thing I've learned from this because 'cause I'm like, how is w your friend is no longer here. I totally understand, totally respect it. It's heartbreaking, all of the above. What if you die? How does that fix that problem? Like, trying
Right.
to, like, help rationalize this to brains that aren't developed. I wasn't equipped, and I am not ready. Take me out, coach. Don't put me in. Take me out. I don't know what I'm doing. I had to tell my girls all the time, you realize this is the first time I've had daughters this age, right? And it's like our son, he just kind of bebops around. He's doing his own thing. He's in his own little world. My girls, though, they're obsessed with me. I need to get shirts saying my daughters are obsessed with me because they are. And they're always like right here. They're asleep right now. That's why they're not right here. But it's one of those things. It's like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep. Yep. Same. Absolute same. I was gonna say something and I forget what I was gonna say. Oh no, so
Fine.
it's interesting. So like I was saying earlier, it's interesting to come across things like, so I was talking about Sam and Colby, how I'm figuring them out, and then you're having this bringing them up in conversation. And so I recently, like literally the beginning of this week, so I want to be a writer, and
Mhm.
um, I started writing movie scripts. I've written one book so far. I've written a second book. It's just not finished yet, and I gotta publish it and all that stuff. But I started writing screenplays, and I'm in the middle of writing one right now. But I had like an epiphany to write another one at the beginning of this week, and it's about the stages of grief. It's like a psychological horror thriller about
Oh, okay.
about grief. So
Wow.
I find that interesting. It's almost like I
I'm
was
just
preparing
confirming
myself
all
for
of
this
this stuff for
conversation.
you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm
You
supposed to tell
I am
these.
validating you are on the right
Absolutely.
track, Kevin.
Absolutely. Um, so there was another question I wanted to ask you, and it's blanking out of my mind right now. So, I don't know. If I'll just ask you sometime off air if I remember the question, because has been in the back of my mind for a little bit, and I kept going on other rants. So, but I will say, if you don't mind, it's letting everybody know one last time. Oh no, I have to ask. I have been forgetting my freaking closing question for the last couple episodes. So I want to ask you: are you finding fulfillment in what you're doing with your podcast and everything?
Absolutely. I really am. You know, it's giving me something that I didn't have for a long time. When I was with the federal court, I kinda lost my identity in
Hmm.
there, and I just became Ashley, the judge's courtroom deputy. I did it for so long. I started with the federal government at age 25. Like, I had just turned 25. I was a baby, and before that, I went right out of college right into the state government. So I had no sense of identity, and when I woke up one day and I was like, "I'm gonna leave my job. I'm blessed enough that I don't have to work, like, I'm going to leave. I was terrified because that's who I was. That was my identity. I'd been married, divorced, married, had a kid all while I was there. And so this podcast has helped me learn who I am and brought me a sense of community that I've never had. And I've met so many people. I have traveled so many places. I have seen so many different things. It truly was something that I didn't even know I needed for my soul. It has made my soul happy, and I absolutely adore it. I absolutely love it. And I cannot wait to see where it takes me in the next 3 years.
I love that for you. I wish you nothing but success in the future, and
Thank you.
I feel it in my soul that that you are gonna be something that people are gonna go to for um information on hauntings and stuff, and your TikTok is get growing too. I see that, and I feel
Oh,
like
like
people are gonna start paying attention to you. I don't know what it is, but I've been seeing you more and more lately, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you to be on. And I was like, because I've been seeing a lot of your stuff a lot lately, and it's just been popping. I know I've been following you for a while now, but um, I was like, man, I gotta have this lady. I can't believe I've never asked this lady to be on my show yet. Like this is
well, I'm
crazy, and
glad you did.
me too. But I won't take up any more of your morning. If you don't mind letting the listeners know one last time who you are and where they can find you in your podcast.
My name is Ashley. I'm the host of Ghost Gossip, and you can find me on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and watch on YouTube. I'm just getting into that, so bear with me. I am old and I am learning. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And Ghost Gossip, either pod or podcast. I am everywhere. And then you can email me also at ghostgossip247@gmail.com.
Nice, nice. All right, guys. Um, go follow her, show her some love. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Ashley's a lovely person. I really enjoyed her stories and conversating with her. But anyways, if you don't mind, like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating and review. That always helps, obviously. But if your catcher doesn't allow you to leave a rating and review, you can always do so on the website where the weird ones are, podcast.com. That is also where you can get hot sauce merch like the t-shirt behind me, and the t-shirt that I'm wearing. There's a ton of designs on there that you can check out. You can also get supplements and coffee and read some of my short stories if you're interested in that. Other than that, you guys know the drill. Question everything and stay weird.
In the quiet of the night, when the world feels far, there's a voice through the static, like a falling star. It calls the misfits, the dreamers, the ones who see the shadows in the corners, the truth we barely believe. From the pine tree woods to the desert skies, they talk of ghosts and aliens with wonder in their eyes, not afraid to ask the questions that others won't dare, 'cause the world gets strange when you stop and stare. Come gather around where the weird ones are, by the fireside glow or a midnight call, where the stories run deep and the secrets fly like owls in the dark or stars in the sky. If you've ever felt lost, like you don't belong, you found your place, you found your song, right here where the weird ones are. They'll talk of cryptids, time slips, and deja vu of spirits that linger and what might be true. But more than the monsters, it's the people you'll find who dare to be open with curious minds. It's not about fear, it's the thrill of the ride, to question the world with wonder as guide. So pull up a chair, let your freak flag fly. We're the seekers of truth beneath the sky. Yeah, come gather around where the weird ones are, on the moonlit thoughts and cosmic scars, where the veil feels thin and the questions burn, and we chase the strange at every turn. You're not alone, not in the dark, you're with a tribe. You found the spark right here where the weird ones are. For the ones who wonder, for the ones who know, welcome home.